Keep your eyes on the prize and hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize and hold on, hold on. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I expect this room to feel like a room full of organizers. Good morning.
Good morning.
How you feeling? Good. You're good. And I wanted to take this time, this space. I know I got 30 minutes. Before I even go forward, I want to acknowledge how many of you all in the room have had somebody close to you, somebody that you love, that's been impacted by the ice raids. Let me see, show of hands. Thank you. You can put your hand down. Thank you. I want to say to you, I'm so sorry. I want to say to you, I'm so sorry. I think sometimes we're so caught up in the politics. I was thinking about you last night. I prayed for you last night. I promise to God. I'm so happy I seen you. We've made this so political that we've forgotten this is about people. This is about the people that we love. This is about other human beings that are being treated like dogs. I shouldn't have to get up here to make anybody outraged. If you are not angry, something is wrong. If something in your heart is not feeling something, something is wrong. How many of y'all in here have a family member, somebody that you love, or somebody that has been hurt by the criminal justice system? How many of you all have lost a child by police violence or attached something with the criminal justice system? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. How many of y'all have had a family member to die because they didn't have access to health care? How many of y'all have somebody that's struggling right now because they don't have the resources that they need for health care? Now I know I'm supposed to be bringing the joy word, right? And I am. Because I'm challenging us. I want us to sit in what's real. You know, I feel like we've gotten so used to people pontificating and talking that we're not centering what is real. What is real is that we're faced in a space that we're literally fighting for our lives. And for the lives of those that we love. And so how many of you all are tired? You just feel tired. How many of you just feel worn down? How many of you feel a sense of uncertainty in this moment? But I want you to raise your hands. I want us to look. I want us to pay attention. We're teaching each other. How many of y'all are feeling a sense, just honestly, I know we're going to fight because that's what we do, right? Yeah. But you're feeling a sense of hopelessness right now. How many of us are afraid? Thank you. The one gift of fear and the one gift of being afraid is that it is the precursor for courage. Courage is not needed if you're not afraid. Why do you need courage? If you ain't scared, you don't need no courage. You don't even develop courage if you're not fearful. The courageous are actually on our side. Because we're navigating through fear. We've got to tap into something deeper that's not about the politics or the policy of the moment. We've got to tap into something deeper that says, I will walk through hell and back our humanity. And part of what has happened, even in this moment, part of what has happened is we co-created this moment. I know we don't want to hear that. I know we want to believe that as those other folks, as those people, am I C3, C4? I'm C3, right? Because you know, I can wear all the hats. So I'm in my C4 hat. That we can talk about the Republicans or the administration and all of that, but the core of this has been because we have not only forgotten who we are, we have not centered people. And so we have been so caught up in centering policy. And how do we win policy? That we've lost the minds, the spirits, and imaginations of people. So when we're talking and organizing people, they don't even believe us anymore. Because we keep pointing them to something that does not give them any relief. And we're not courageous enough to own that. Instead, we make something wrong with them. But as an organizer, your job isn't, because there's difference to me around how I see organizers, right? I don't see an organizer just as a cherry picker. Like I'm just gonna pick people and that's what we do. That's just a tactic. A real organizer, I'm gonna tell you all this quick story, and then I wanna go into some other things. I was organizing, my very first organizing job. I was in Alabama, I was in Selma, Alabama. And it was my very first organizing job. We were organizing around public housing. And then with public housing, they wanted to have, there was a requirement to have a residence council, but they never could get anybody to come and be a part of it. So I was going door to door to try to recruit people to be a part of this residence council. And so there's this woman that kept telling me, this older woman named Miss Carolyn, that I need to go to her house. I need to go to her house and get her on board, because if I got Miss Carolyn, I would get the community. She had so much impact on the community. So that's what I did. So what I did is I did my organizing in that community. I went to Miss Carolyn's house, and I got to Miss Carolyn's house. I had my flip chart, my little notepad, and my pen for her to sign on and to let her know this meeting that was coming up. And I got there, and Miss Carolyn said, "Oh, baby, come on in." She lived in a housing project. And she said, "Come on in." I came in, and I said, "Hi." I introduced, I had my spiel. "I'm LaTosha Brown, and such, such, such." And I'm giving my spiel, and she says, "Child, let me tell you what Victor did today." And I said, "Victor?" She said, "Miss Chancellor." I said, "Miss Chancellor, Young and the Restless." I didn't know what she was talking about, right? She said, "Miss Chancellor and Nikki and it's just a mess." And I said, "Okay." I was like, "Okay, all right, but listen." And so and every time I would start telling her about my petition again, she would tell me about something else that was happening on Young and Restless. And I couldn't talk over, because I am from the South. She was an older woman, so I gotta be respectful. So when she's talking, I gotta be quiet and say, "Yes, ma'am." So she wound up giving me some, she was like, "You want something to eat?" She gave me some lemonade. The bottom line, she never let me tell her why I was there, right? And so I left. But I am a Scorpio. And because I am a Scorpio, I cannot be defeated. So I'm gonna go back, right? So I go back to her. And same scenario, get in there, same scenario. It's a different story this time. This time she offered me some food, because she offered me drink the first time. This time she offered me some food. So I'm like, okay, I'll sit there with it, and I'm thinking I'm gonna get an opening. And then she was like, "All right then, babe, I know you got a long," she put me out. "All right, I know you got a long day," so she put me out. I was like, "Did she just feed me and put me out?" Okay. So now it's a challenge. I go back. I don't know how many times I went back, maybe about 5 or 6 times, I can't even remember. At the point where I actually grew an affection. I had an affection for her. So I knew she was gonna haze me. I knew she wasn't gonna sign my paper. But I had grown an affection for her. I loved her. I wanted to see her. And so I go to her house. I get to her house. This is about the 5th or 6th time. I come in. I got my bag. I'm ready this time. Because at this point, I know the drill. I put my bag down. I'm sitting there and I'm ready for my food and my thing. And we're going to talk about Young and Restless. I was like, "Hey, Miss Carolyn." I was like, "What happened today?" And so I'm sitting down. I'm ready. And she says, "Where's your notepad?" I said, "What you mean? Ain't you supposed to be out here working? Them people paying you out here working, and you over here talking about the Young and Restless? Where is your notepad?" looking at me like stern. And I gave it to her, she signed it. That Thursday, our meeting was packed out. There were not, people couldn't even sit down, it was packed out. My organizing rule, the most important organizing rule I have ever learned in my life came from Miss Carolyn. The day that I showed up for Miss Carolyn is the day I organized her. I showed up initially because I wanted something from her. I wanted to be extractive. I wanted her to sign my paper. I mean, yeah, I cared about it. I mean, yeah, I know you're a person, XYZ, but I didn't care to even invest in her at that point. She taught me to be an organizer because when the paper became secondary, that's when she was able to feel my sincerity. She knew that I came to that house for her. And she signed it and organized, and we blew it out. They thought I was an amazing organizer. I was like, I got Miss Carolyn, baby. We watched Young and Restless. Even my thing, he asked me, he said, what happened this time? I said, I watched Young and Restless. He said, I'm not even gonna ask you what that means, but okay. I'm raising this. Our people are hurting. And if our people are hurting, what is it that we give them? And so I've got these tactics that I wrote down, and I may get to it in spirit, but y'all know who I am. I kind of follow how I feel like spirit. They have gotten us so caught up in the tactical strategy of organizing that we've reduced people to numbers. How many numbers I'm gonna get on my chart? How many door knocks did I make? To the point that it's actually stripped the spirit out of organizing. It has made it be a function, a tactical function, and you think that people don't feel that? That's why Miss Carolyn responded the way she did. Because she was function of a program that someone had created, that she was on my list, her address was on my list, on my little pad, and I was checking her off my list. But I didn't when I brought the spirit and the energy, and that she saw that I loved and I cared for her, I moved her differently. And so as in this moment I'm saying this, do not reduce our people to numbers to move just to stop something. I don't care who says that. But at this point, we got to be more sophisticated as organizers to know that you got to capture the hearts, the minds, and the imaginations of people. Now, I know I am not a minister, but I am a person of faith, and I can only come out of my faith tradition. I was really concerned about how fear has been taking charge, and how everything right now, politically, that is happening, is the other side, or this particular small group of folk, are trying to weaponize fear. That's why we're seeing what ICE is doing. That's why we're seeing these invasions. And the whole idea is to have you paralyzed by fear. And so in my mind, I was like, what can we do about fear? And so I looked, one morning I was feeling particularly weak and just confused, like I was so angry I didn't know what to do. And so I looked at it as a scripture. I wanted to look around, what does the scripture, what does my faith tradition say about how do you address fear? And in the Bible it says, there's one Bible verse, and I've seen it and read it a million times, but this particular time, it lifted me up almost off the ground. And what the verse says is, perfect love drives out all fear. Y'all ain't hearing me. Perfect love drives out all fear. When you have perfect love for humanity, it doesn't mean perfect in the sense of you ain't gonna get anything wrong. It means that it is pure. That I can't see anybody, whether they're brown, black, white, be mistreated or dehumanized and be okay with that. That's what perfect love is. Perfect love is actually holding folks accountable that are harming. I love you enough to move you the hell out the way so you don't hurt yourself and others. Perfect love brings about correction. What if we are really creating a movement that is rooted and based in perfect love? And what does that mean? That we're centering humanity, That when people know that you care, we know that the number one issue right now is that Americans are lonely. Did y'all know that? They're saying that the majority of people in this country are lonely. So lonely that we're seeking for community in different ways. But we still are going to organize based on a polling and a stat. So we can meet our numbers. So our funders can believe that we're worthy enough to receive investment. I no longer want to be bound by the transaction of politics. Because the transaction of politics has gotten us here. And anybody that's still supporting that, that's a Earth One theory. I want to be a part of politics that are transformative. Because if we had transformative politics, we wouldn't be here now. Because when people believe that they're empowered and that they're a part of a larger community and their strategy and they're worthy, we don't accept this shit. And so I'm coming to you, I'm going to ask you to do two things. And then there's some tactical stuff I want to talk about. But I'm going to ask you to do two things. One, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. I do this everywhere I go. Some of y'all may have done this with me before. Close your eyes. And I'm going to ask you a question. My question to you is, what would America look like without racism? What would this nation look like? What would America look like without racism? What would the criminal justice system look like? What would the court system look like? What would housing look like? What would business look like? What would a work day look like? What would America look like without racism? Then my second question to you is, what would the state of Georgia look like if all God's children felt valued and respected? You ain't gotta like it. I just said respected. Now open your eyes. Now I'm gonna ask you this question. How many of you all have been asked that question before? Look around the room. Now I'm going to ask a follow-up question. Someone out in the audience, this is participatory. Someone out in the audience tell me, what has existed in the physical realm that wasn't first envisioned? What exists in the physical world that someone didn't envision first? This podium? Nope, somebody envisioned that. This bottle of water, somebody give me something. You can't give me anything. There is nothing that exists in the physical realm that wasn't first envisioned. And I need you to hold your seats on this one. The fact that we are not even envisioning a nation without racism, how will we ever get there? Because we certainly don't think the other folks envisioning this hour. I'm raising this because I need you to make a shift from seeing yourselves as citizens of a nation that you're begging to be a part of and respected. Shift yourself and start thinking as a founder of a new America. What would it mean to be a founder of a new nation, of a new America? That people really are treated with dignity and respect. You got to think as founders, not just as I'm sitting at the table asking you to see me. We have tried that and it ain't worked. And so it's a moment for people to rise up. There's an opportunity that exists even in the midst of this pain. How are we in this moment not just responding, but radically reimagining into some people in this country, I hate to tell you this, but it is over. Those things have been damaged beyond repair. And what will replace it? We will create the same exact dynamic if we're not really being intentional about what it is that we want and what we want to replace. Now, there's some things that we got to do in the short term, and I know I'm half my time, so I'll get into that. There's some things that I think we got to do in the short term, but what was important to me, most of y'all know the tactical stuff. Folks out here, I ain't got to tell y'all how to do a GOTV operation. What I'm telling you is the weakness of the effectiveness of it is because we've let philanthropy drive us instead of being honest about what it is that we're going to do to transform folks. I remember arguing about organizing 10 years ago. Helen, do you remember where funders were telling us that had no value? We just want them numbers in that band system. Which means I don't have time, and my team don't have time to talk to these folks. You got to move on so you can get these numbers. Which is why you cannot sustain a win. Oh, I can tell you a little something about numbers. Anybody ever heard of the 3/5 compromise? In some ways, communities of color are still treated as such. But with the 3/5 compromise, I'm going to break it down in a small, simple way. And poor people. In the 3/5 compromise, you have all of these black people, African Americans in the Deep South, that brought the numbers. That the majority of the population, you had African Americans. And so you had these white landowners and the folks who were in leadership saying, wait a minute now, we need the same kind of, we need representation. We need to have political power. So what we're going to do, we can't really necessarily say we're not going to honor your humanity, the fullness of your humanity. But we're going to count all of these black folks as 3/5 of a person because we need to leverage the weight of their numbers for our power. Does that sound familiar? Yeah. And so we're in a moment of truth right now, and some people may feel uncomfortable. Good, we should. We all should feel uncomfortable. I don't know about y'all, but I'm tired of fighting the same fight over and over and over again. We got to elevate it and take it to the next level. And if that is the case, then that means we've got to drive it. And we've got to drive it from a different framework, not the same framework of just winning an election. First thing is we've got to shift the way we see a win. What is a win? How are we measuring a win? Are we only measuring a win by an elected office? What does it look like? Do our people trust us? Are we reducing harm when we're able? Let me tell you something. When you take care of people, when they're at their lowest, they remember you. That's why they follow you, sister.
That's it. That's it.
We've got to incorporate some other elements in our work. We've got to build community, y'all. We cannot afford to just be an electoral machine for those who really are leveraging us to protect their power at our expense. Yes, we're going to get your numbers, but we're going to get our numbers.
Yes.
And our numbers mean that we're literally going to build communities that are infused with trust and infrastructure in such a way that it doesn't take the next election for us to engage them or the next crisis, that we will have a different kind of relationship to function as we're mobilizing folks. People were leaving, they matter. I wrote down 6 things. Neighbors becoming organizers. Are we building community? That oftentimes when we're just going door to door, we're not building community, y'all. You gotta find your folks in those communities, empower them, give them the opportunity that we're building community safety net. And I'm not just saying this, I'm saying this as a strategy to support ourselves, because things are gonna get worse. And I'm not saying this in a space of fear, it's just a reality. And And the biggest protection is going to be communities being in relationship with each other. We've got to actually start encouraging our communities to be in relationship with each other. People need to know who they need to call if somebody goes missing or if something happens to somebody. Our folks need to know that information now. We are in fascism. We're not in the saying, if somebody's not comfortable with it, I'm so sorry. But this is a reality, and as long as we're not honest about it, we will still be organizing as if we were a year ago and we're not there anymore. So we're here. So it's a couple of things. What a win looks like, people believing they matter. 2, neighbors becoming organized. 3, young people finding our voices. Are you pulling young people in your organizing? Are you allowing young people to actually be a part of the process? And I'm not one of those folks, let me tell you, even young people in it. I'm not one of those people that believe because you're young, you know more than everybody else. I think you have old fools, you got young fools. I believe people who are disciplined in their study of organizing, people who are disciplined in their actions of organizing, and some people are natural organizers, y'all know that. That's who you want to feed into. That is who you want to actually pour into. I think it's important in this moment that we actually include elders in our community. How much institutional knowledge and wisdom and experience are we cutting ourselves off because we allowed ourselves to get caught up in some ageism? Without finding spaces within our organization for our entire community to feel some sense of connection. We know that Americans feel lonely. So if loneliness is an issue, then organizing could be a solution to engage people. Are we doing that? And transformation. Are we offering people a transformation? What's the North Star? What are we telling people? Oh, just come on, just come on and do this because we need the Democrats or other people to win. That's not compelling enough. It's no longer compelling enough. If you center, and I know most of y'all are C3, but you on the C4, if we keep centering candidates and parties, we're going to get our behinds kicked because people want more. And part of the reason why we've lost where we've lost is because we had the wrong conversation. We made it so party and political centered that it no longer was people centered. People couldn't even see themselves in it. And at the end of the day, if I'm in a fight and I think that I'm weak and you tell me everybody else around weak with me, I might roll with the bully for my own protection. Now I ain't gonna do that because I'm the one that's gonna take on the bully, but that's a whole different story. Everybody ain't like me. And a lot of y'all, some of y'all are the ones that take on the bully. But the truth of the matter is, fear is real. And it creates an opportunity for courage, but you have to nurture the environment for courage to actually flourish. And sometimes that's us being honest, being vulnerable about what we've done, what we've not done, being vulnerable, saying, letting your people know, I am scared, but damn it, we taking it down, we going down. Like really putting the humanity in it. And not even necessarily saying we know all the answers because we don't. So one, we got to shift and win. The opposition wants winning to be equal to domination. And so oftentimes we take on that same piece, that same behavior. I can run over who I need to run over because we got to win. And you take on the same behavior of your oppressors. And your people don't even want to work for you. Because you're a tyrant. And you're trying to figure out why nobody want to work with you anymore. They ain't down with the cause. No, they ain't down with you. And so in this moment, we got to have a self-examination of how we've actually taken on the behavior of the nonprofit industrial complex that now has disconnected us from our own people. And they don't feel you. They don't feel the love because perfect love drives out fear. So how do we organize differently? If we're talking to our folks, what are they talking about? Are we really organizing around that? or we organize around what we say they need to know. I'm really serious about that. How many of us are really talking to our people in this moment about what they see and what they feel? One of the organizers that I work with in Chicago was saying that in Chicago, they were organizing around the National Guard coming in, and I was just with him yesterday. And he said, when they were going talking to folks, he said, many of the older people were saying, "Nah, we want them to come in because we're afraid." And he was so shocked. But what they did is they organized around that and said, well, listen, we need safety. Let's figure out how we can get a safety remedy, right? That is community centered. Would you rather that or the National Guard? They said, oh, no, we would love that. But they were trying to push this whole thing around building, not having the National Guard in, not recognizing that there was an element of folks, because we don't want to say it politically, that really felt fearful. And so that if they had the opportunity to actually organize around what people felt like their issue was and address that, that's what helped them to stop and slow down and really congeal the community around it. Because they were honest about what people were really feeling, not what someone told them that they were feeling. We also have to honor the spirit of resistance. And in this moment, we've got to start getting our people prepared for discomfort. Y'all, we've got to start getting our people prepared for discomfort. One of the things that I want to do, is, how many of y'all are familiar with the Target boycott? How many of y'all have actually participated in this? Is not good. Oh, that's wonderful. Okay. So there is a boycott going on currently around Target. And part of it is, it's Target, but it's to send a message to other businesses. We're not going to give you our money, and you're not going to stand with us. If you don't stand with us, we can't keep standing with you. And so part of what makes it really difficult is so many companies have capitulated in this moment. That you think about my favorite companies that I like to shop from have capitulated. So you're like, well, we can't take all of them. And then it makes you think, well, I might as well not do any of them. No, we might have to take a mighty rivers of field drop by drop. You can drain the swamp out, drop by drop. You can change the dynamics. And so I'm saying the Target fast, if we can't discipline our folks or ourselves to stop shopping from Target, how you expect people to go out in the streets and put their lives on the line? We should be looking at the Target fast and pushing the Target fast to our folks as an economic tool so that we can actually help people start building up their muscles of discomfort. What we do know is Christmas is coming. When is the biggest shopping day of the year? Black Friday. This year, let's do a Blackout Friday. We're not buying nothing from nobody on Black Friday or Cyber Monday. Why? Because many businesses, literally, they look at their projection for the first quarter, even up to 6 months, based on, their projections are based on how they do well that weekend. If you are not going to stand with people, or if you're going to capitulate with a government that says it can pick and divide people and hurt and harm us, why in the hell would we buy anything from you? And if we're not asking our people that and framing it in that way. So one of the things, I know I only got a minute. One of the things that's going to be really key and critical is that we take on these actions that get people used to the discomfort. So even with the Target fast, even with that, it gives an opportunity for our people to build a muscle. The second thing is, for Georgia, this election that is coming up, I got 2 more points. No, I'm gonna get down. This election that is coming up is on the Public Service Commission. But if we can't organize around people bills getting high, listen, we have a gift. But are we saying it that way? All those fancy things, people don't want to hear all that. Why is my light bill so damn high? Well, this is why. And this is what you can do about it. We can actually sell that story. We asking you to vote because your bill's too damn high. That's why. And this is how this fits with that. Like, we got to organize this as an opportunity. And this is coming up in November. It's really important. It's the only thing that is on the ballot, really, and some local seats as well. But we should, listen y'all, this is our lane. That right there, we cannot convince people that their bills are high when they already complaining that their bills are high. And articulate a solution. Something is wrong. Two other points. One, we can no longer organize in a vacuum. You're going to have to work with other organizations, and you're going to have to let go of taking the credit. And funders, our funder donor partners out here, you're going to have to not exacerbate the problem with incentivizing one organization over another that de-incentivizes us to work together. And so you're going to have some discipline in this moment that you're actually facilitating and supporting, not a forced marriage, but facilitating and supporting and incentivizing people work together. Because the truth of the matter is not a single organization in Georgia that can fill all the capacity gaps that we have. We have major organizing gaps. The third thing is you got to be honest with your capacity. There are people that are staying in organizations, and part of this is driven by funding. So there are organizations that saying that they have the capacity to do things that y'all, you simply don't have the capacity to do. And I'm not saying this for you to feel bad or be in judgment. I'm saying let's be honest in this moment and figure out how we can partner so that we can fill some of these gaps, because we are going to damn lose if we continue to move like we've been moving the last 10 years. We're in a different space. So I need you all to start linking up. Who got Cobb County? Who got DeKalb County? Who has Fulton County? Who has real capacity there? I only got 3 people in Cobb. Oh, you got 25 people in there. I'm gonna put my 3 people with your people to run an operation so that we can actually spread and go deeper. We've got to think like that, y'all, this time. And as I get ready to close, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Okay, I'm doing good. I wrote this nice little speech for y'all. I just don't never stay on script. But gather your people, build your trust networks. You got to experiment and try some things. Like I'm saying, this boycott, because we got to build our people. And then the last thing, on October the 15th, there's a case that's coming up that could strip the Voting Rights Act, Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, which essentially allows for there to be competitive districts. It would wipe out 4 to 5 Latino districts and 16, and some would say even to 20, black districts, because it would change how maps are drawn, whether you can have competitive districts. That's coming out of the South. The South got something to say, but the South is about to be silenced if we're not up on it. And so there's some actions that are going on October the 15th at the Supreme Court to mobilize for the Supreme Court. And so we've got to, all those things I'm saying, like we have to tell our people to be fortified in this moment. Our people should have some cash. We should get our people to all have some cash. Secondly, we got to get our people to write down that information. Y'all, we're in a different space. We're not in the space we were a year ago. I'm not trying to be an alarmist. It's true. Everybody should have a network of at least 5 folks that if something goes down, they get arrested, and particularly those of you that are organizers. That somebody knows where you are, how to get to you. I dropped the mic, so I guess it's time to go. The third thing is, I want you all to really meditate on this. If perfect love, and I don't mean perfection as the world sees it. You are perfect as you are, because you were created to be who you are. And every experience up until this point made you who you are. So you are perfect. And we've got to move with that. Something in you has to know that our strategies are not going to move us. It will be our spirit to fight for humanity that is going to get us in here. Now, some people say that's not going to happen. Well, ask the 600 people in Selma, Alabama that was on the bridge that did not have politics on their side. They did not have a political party on their side. They didn't have a lot of people, but what they had is they had a spirit
give us a spark talk, our final spark talk of the strategy session.
Hello? Hello. How does it work? Does it work? Is this on? Yes. Is this microphone on? Yes. Hey y'all. Hey y'all, my name is Bentley Hudgens. I use they, them pronouns, and I am the Georgia State Director of the Human Rights Campaign. So, the Human Rights